Love you, Leeds. I always get a little rash. I like you too, don't I?
Yeah, love it.
Right, and guys, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds for the final pint. The Leeds 2, QPR 0. Great result. We'll touch on the performance, obviously. But yeah, thanks for being here. If it's your first time, subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, please stick a like on. And obviously, check out Darren and Dillo over at Only Leeds Bros. We alternate weeks for the final pint. So yeah, this week it's on mine. Next one will be on theirs. And yeah, hopefully you've all got a beer. I've got a Madry.
Pint of Carling.
Pint of Carling. What have you got, Darren?
We have an old Corona.
I thought it was Desperado. I thought you're nuts if you've got a Desperado after Christmas.
all the drink that me and Darren had over the last 24
hours.
Oh my God.
Honestly, lads, yeah, I cannot wait. Now we're friends. I'm going to be over. Now we're friends. YouTube friends.
Football friends.
You're gonna have to get me over. You're gonna have to get me over to Ireland and show me a proper Irish knees up, because I can only imagine I can't keep up, but I'll have a good go trying.
Just don't be the first to fall asleep. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's great at the time, but
or the magic marker will come out.
Too right. Danny's here as always. Look at this. Evening, Noel, Daichi, and Darren.
I was waiting for him, but just real quick. Sorry.
Just Darren. Just Darren.
I'm just Darren, yeah.
Just Darren, yeah.
Danny, what do you think of that man right there? The man scored another goal. Another goal.
I don't think we'll speak much about Pillow today. I don't
think we'll bother you. We'll just talk about Chelsea.
It's not much of a talking point now.
Don't you? I'll see you later. I'll see you later.
Evening, boys from Elizabeth. Evening, babes.
Evening,
right.
Elizabeth.
So were you surprised when you saw the lineup an hour before kickoff? What stood out when you saw the lineup? I mean, before that we had the news of Firpo, didn't we, at 9 a.m? Which did you hear any before we go into the lineup? Did you hear any murmurings of that at all?
No, nothing. Not one thing. And then it was saying that the FA investigated, but it's very weird that, because obviously we did a stream with Sean from Wilco White and we were speaking about it as well, and I thought it was very strange. It must have been reported by Millwall, unless the Millwall player was badly injured, or unless they're just trying to get one over in Leeds. But it's very weird for the FA to go back on that if the officials didn't spot it, so unless Millwall went and reported it to the match officials, they've obviously said they've missed it. They obviously have to do it on their match report, and then the FA have had a look into it. But even the footage that I was seeing, I was still rooting around yesterday trying to find footage of it. There doesn't seem to be any. There's one really bad one, and you can't even make out if it's a headbutt, a stamp, or what it is. But so as you said, Mikey, it must have been bad, or unless it's just the EFL trying to get one over on Leeds again. But yeah, very, very, very strange.
I seen a video on X. Yeah, and you could see it would make it out was fair, but I should have actually reposted.
That's the one I think I'm talking about, Dylan. Yeah,
it was really blurry, and your man kind of
really blurry.
But, like, he didn't stitch him, it was dead sort of stuff. But look, I gave Millwall their flowers. We were the better team, etc. Blah blah blah. Not going into it, but if they did report over a little incident like that. Do you know what I mean? Sad.
I mean, they've really looked hard to find that footage, haven't they, lads? Like you say,
hard, yeah.
I've seen one image of it.
What footage did he have? Like, probably what in the ground? Have Millwall Millwall provided, something, in the ground, cameras in the ground that have spotted it or something? But
one fan cam, you know what I mean? Yeah, really
it was strange though. It wasn't even explained. It was just like violent conduct, not even for a headbutt, stamp, like nothing. Like even Leeds not to come out and kind of give a little bit more about it is a strange one as well. So yeah, it kind of seems like this sort of stuff just happens to Leeds, doesn't it? When I seen it, was just this only happens to Leeds. Like.
I mean, you saw I lost my head that we lost to them, and everyone's saying that we didn't. Well, certain people saying we didn't deserve it. To be fair, now not only have they got 3 points out of us, a clean sheet, they also got Firpo banned for 3 games. So maybe they did do an absolute number on us.
They have our pants down.
Honestly, massively. Fair play, Millwall. I can't. Yeah. Sure, we're on other foot would be all laughing, but yeah.
I can't wait though to come to Ellen Road.
It's just their game plan. Like it didn't surprise me that the way that we're going to play. And obviously we've touched on it a bit off air in our WhatsApp group and that, but it was just none of us were surprised by the way Millwall played. It was just really concerning that Leeds didn't do anything to counteract it. We all spoke in the match build-ups about the height that they have, the boy Cooper, and we didn't do anything to counteract it. So yeah, Millwall's it's going to be one of them that's just going to stink for a while, and probably we'll look back again in a couple of months and go, just wasn't a good performance at all. But the main thing was a QPR that we bounced back. I know we all wanted the performance to be there, but it was imperative because there in the second half there was a time where I kind of thought QPR are going to nick one back. It never really felt secure until we got the second goal, and you can only imagine what would Ellen Road be like if they did draw 1-1, you know.
Honestly,
what was the predictions again? You said 4-0, didn't you?
I was 4-0.
Was it 3?
I said 3-1.
3-1. So we were all wrong.
I said 3-1.
Danny
Still
was
no
close
one on the scoreboard.
Danny almost got it again. Yeah.
Danny was close again. Yeah.
He's a flyer, isn't he? Honestly, he's an absolute flyer. Is Danny? He's always dead close. It was funny because when we scored the second goal, I literally got my phone out of my pocket 10 seconds before we scored, and I was about to leave Danny a voice note saying, "You bugger, you've guessed it right." And as I've literally gone to press record, Piro's banged it back in it, and then it went from me saying, "You're a bugger" to say, "Nah, you didn't get it right this time." That was quite funny, but yeah, like I say, we've touched on Millwall game there, and you know, I did feel like there'd be changes. I said to you before, I didn't think it'd be wholesale change. I thought just a few tweaks here and there. And I think we all sort of agreed that the two, obviously one were forced on him with Byram in for Firpo, but the two he did make, we all sort of thought that was probably likely to happen, didn't we? So there were no shocks there. Joseph getting a start. How do you feel Joseph did in that game, lads?
Do you want me to go there?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's just take the reins.
Yeah, look, we were obviously calling for it because Pirro hadn't really been doing it, but again, it's that combination of Joseph starting and Pirro coming off the bench and scoring. It's working at the minute. So, yeah, I thought Joseph, he did okay. He wasn't outstanding. I think kind of like most players, probably from what I've seen of it, probably the most standout one for me was Aronson. I thought Aronson was really good again. Yes, he's very unlucky to shot off the bar. But I thought Joseph did okay again. Like he's always busy. You know what you're kind of going to get with him. Didn't really have any chances from what I've seen. Nothing kind of clear cut. I think he had the swipe for the Bogle goal. He like kind of swung a bit with it, didn't connect with it. But yeah, nothing really felt to him by the way of chances. So nothing to kind of criticise him in front of the goal. Obviously, just didn't get in the box. And then Pirro just comes on and does what he does. Like Fox in the box, just give him a chance and he score goals 1 or 2, and he always just puts the ball on the back of the net. So. It's worrying me a little bit about the striker situation. Obviously, we spoke about it as well in the last final point when we got bet by Millwall. Is that it's a little bit worrying now that we're 15 games in and we still don't know who our starting striker is 100%. Like people will obviously have their preferences and say, Pirro now we scoring goals, 6 goals, 2 assists, like he has to be the one. But it's again, Joseph just gives you that little bit more kind of overall, doesn't he? So
yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's just for me, it's just getting a little bit worrying at the minute. If the both of them are kind of on point and both of them scoring goals, you're loving it. But yeah, at the minute it's like Pirro's not giving you the output, the general all round play, but scoring goals, and it's the opposite with Joseph. He's not scoring goals and kind of giving you everything else. So we spoke on it there with Joe and Just Joe show. If we could just combine the two of them together, they'd be the perfect player. But then they're probably not going to be at Leeds then, to be fair. So. Yeah, the one side I'm looking at it, that it's kind of good to have that different kind of option off the bench. Like they're not similar strikers, at least we can mix it up in that way. I just like one of them to at least kind of take the reins and say, right, we know he's our number 9, because I don't think we're going to be able to go the whole season this constant ebb and flow that Joseph starting, Pirro starting, Joseph starting. It needs to be, if we're going to go with Joseph, right, he's starting every single game and Pirro's coming off the bench and scoring goals. Perfect. Obviously, Pirro's not going to like that.
No.
So yeah, I hope we get to a stage where we know who our number 9 is, because it seems to be dragging on now a bit.
I mean, either way, you're always going to have one of them. I'll say pissed off, because they're both going to want to start.
Of course, yeah.
They're both teammates. They both want what's best for each other. But ultimately, Pirro's at Leeds not for Joseph. He's there for his own career and vice versa. Yeah, and with Joseph, I just feel. I mean, put yourself in Joseph's shoes, Dillo, for a second. You've got Joseph who comes on and doesn't stop running. Leaves it all on the pitch. And then you get someone like Pirro come on, who is inevitable. He is inevitable, right? But we all know he doesn't look to give as much as Joseph. But he comes on and he gets that goal. How are you feeling if you're Matteo Joseph? Like, seriously, how are you feeling when you're running your boot to water? You know what I mean?
I had a little think about it, to be honest. Like, maybe, I'm not going to say necessarily it's a tactic, but it's definitely the way Joseph plays. And obviously, Farkas said it to him, stretch the defenders as much as you can. Running at everything, like running around like a hellish chicken, but not in a bad way, in a good way. So, like, it's a team game. It's working. Apart from their careers, we want to go up. So, I know it's a worrying situation to have, but we're winning games, lads. Fair enough, Millwall. Yeah. It's only Burnley and Millwall. I don't count Middlesbrough, because I just don't count it. And, I think Darren did hit the nail on the head there a while ago. I think the question has to be asked, Like it's always going to be for the next couple of weeks until someone is starting to bang in goals left, right, and centre. Who is going to start and who would prefer to start?
Even if it does, I think Pirro still will. Pirro probably will be our top goal scorer this season. That's 100%. The rate that he's banging them in, the minutes that he's played, it's unbelievable. That his goal return at the
But when he
6
starts,
goals,
Darren, when he starts, he doesn't seem to score goals as much when he starts.
The only one that off the top of my head, and I might be wrong, was the Sunderland one, the header.
Yeah.
And we scored with putting the ball into the box, into Pirro. And it seems like we just don't do it enough. When we do start with Pirro, we don't seem to do it enough.
No.
And then with Joseph's in, then we're trying to get the ball in the box, and that's not really his kind of game then. So if we could just flip it where we kind of just play to both of our strengths, I do think probably Farker needs to kind of nail it down. He needs to kind of make his mind up on one of them. We have said it's different horses for different courses. I think Millwall was tailor-made for Matteo Joseph. We needed him in that type of game. We knew what it was going to be like. QPR there would have been a game for Pirro, and he obviously started the opposite in both games. So yeah, it looks like it's just going to be one of them that's going to drag on through the season until one of them really kind of grabs it. But I do think it might come down to Pirro probably taking the number 9 shot, because he is the one getting the goals. And look at that, at the end of the day, that's a striker's job. And if Fark can kind of have him scoring goals, and you have the looks of Aronson then doing the hard work in behind. So I know it's a lot of work on Aronson then, because he's nearly kind of doubling up. But if we could just nail it down, that would obviously be more beneficial. I think, because we don't want it to get to Bamford.
It's an endless cycle. So with Pirro and Joseph, like if week in, week out, this is the way that it goes. Joseph comes on, or Joseph starts already stretching the defenders, etc. Pirro comes on and bangs in a goal. What about it? Then if Pirro starts, does nothing really, but then Joseph comes on. But we've got a goal, say we're 1-0 up. Joseph comes on in the 70th minute and, kind of does what he does and still doesn't score a goal. It's frustrating for Joseph because he hasn't scored a goal, but considering it's, like, as I said, it's kind of working at the minute.
It is.
Going back to what
What's
you said,
Joseph got 2, isn't it?
2 goals, 3 assists. I think got 4 assists.
Hull and Sheffield United, doesn't it? Was both. I think both
going
goals.
back to what Darren said a couple of weeks ago, until someone isn't scoring goals, then that's where we can kind of go, well, Bamford is on the sideline. Like, even if Bamford is fit and he's ready to go, he'd probably be similar to what Joseph is doing. He might not even get a goal.
Yeah, true.
So, like, it's just the way that goes at the minute. It's I would say it's 100% working, but it's working at the minute. And just keep going the way we go until it's not working. Until Joseph doesn't want it.
I'd be concerned if one of them weren't available for a suspension or they weren't fit enough, as in either Joseph or Pedro, and one of them had to start and say one of them played 90 minutes. It doesn't look likely that if they played a 90-minute game, without having that option off the bench, they're going to score a couple in that game or even one. Like I say, this season it tends to be one of them runs around. Pirro, is a bit more static, but to be fair to him, I think he does give more than what people give him credit for. He's just
he does. He gets. It's just a shape, isn't it, Tom? He just looks
it is
awkward, but he does actually run. If you just sit and watch Pirro for 10 minutes, he does get about. He does press. Just not effective of what Joseph does it. Like, he does do it. Like
100%. And I think the way he went with it on Saturday is the way forward for this side. I don't feel like some people say it's not working. I'd say it is working. They've just got to get them the right way around for me. When, like you say, when you see certain games where one of them's not effective, the other one tends to be effective off the bench, and I do feel it's Pirro who's the better one coming on. It's just like I always go on about this. And it must be so difficult to tell them they're not playing when they're in that kind of form. I mean, you think Pirro now. You would think he's above Joseph right now, but he's every chance he could still play. He could still start Joseph in next game, because for me that is the best way forward. But how do you keep telling Pirro you're on the bench? Hence why it changed when he scored 4 in 4 games or 4 in 4 shots. The pressure was on Fark. He had, it really did. He really did. It's hard to go against some of the, when all the outside pressure, because all fans at that point were like, as much as we like Joseph when he scored 4 in 4. He's got to start Pirro, really. The law of averages say, he's due a start now.
He needs a bash.
But this way, how we went on Saturday, is the way forward for me, and it's the most effective way. And I don't think we've lost any games when we've gone with that. Maybe Burnley one, to be fair. I'm not sure who started up front on that, but it's been his most.
It was Joseph, wasn't it?
Was it Joseph? It's been his most successful stint of form there has been when Joseph started.
I'd love to see the two of them start, to be honest with you.
I mean, there's a lot to be said though, lads, isn't there, of the game state. when you're starting a game to coming on with 20 minutes left and that defence is tired and the game's opening up. I mean, you think when Pirro comes on there, they're 1-0 down and they're not going for it, QPR, they're not, but they're going to be not as tight in their boxes, as they were for the opening 70, because their game plan is to keep it tight, 0-0 ideally, 1-0 into a bad result after 70 minutes for QPR at all, because they're still in game, aren't they, as you know, with 1 goal. So for me, Pirro coming on, he's rubbing his hands together in that game, knowing full well Leeds are going to, be on the counter, Leeds are going to have opportunities and space, and it proved right. And as we know, he only needs 1 shot. Does Pirro? He tends not to miss many, does he? If any, I can't remember last time he missed one, and you go, "Oh, he should have." I really can't. I can't remember.
I think going back to what you boys said there a couple of weeks ago, I'd love to see him play in the 10, but obviously Aronson is doing very well, So
I mean, he could press like Aronson, though, couldn't he?
Yeah,
he'd press the same as Aronson,
or even the 2 of them up top. But then that means like going into
4-4-2,
4-4-2, and then it's not really gonna.
No, I think problem with starting them both. You know what I mean, Dylan? It might not even be what they offer, like on the pitch, because I think it would work. I think it might be, you're asking them both to play 90 minutes, or you're having to sub Bamford on 65, 70.
Yeah, that's exactly
I think because you can't really start with both. Yeah,
if it's not working, then you don't really have that option off the bench, like what you said. Then you're bringing on a Bamford then to try and change it up. Then and he's never really going to go with Joseph in the 10, isn't he? You just know it's going to be Pirro, and we've seen Pirro in the 10, and that's just not going to work that way either. So I would somehow like to get the 2 of them into the team and just see how it worked, maybe an FA Cup game, but like, is he then going to risk starting 2 of them being injured, losing one of them then, that's kind of a little bit naive then. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, and it seems like it's one that's kind of been going on now for a couple of weeks. Just hopefully one of them does grab the mantle, but I do think Pirro's probably slightly ahead of Joseph now that he scored again yesterday. I do think Fark now, he needs to make his mind up, because it's good to have that rotation, especially when we've got 3 games in 7 days, 8 days. It's good to obviously have that rotation, and we definitely needed it against QPR. But there has to come to a stage where you kind of nearly know the starting 11. It needs to be kind of be nailed down, and Fark needs to know his head. There seems to be a lot of swapping at the minute. Obviously, we've seen Solomon in, he's been out. James been in, he's been out. Ramazani's obviously injured now as well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there when Ramazani comes back in. With the Solomon situation, does that see Solomon a little bit down the pecking order? I know I'm going to obviously put it to you, Matt. He thought Solomon was okay yesterday. He wasn't outstanding, but he's okay. He's improving. If the goal stood that he scores, then we're probably talking about him in a different way. So yeah, there's still a lot of questions to be asked of this team. It doesn't really seem fully oiled yet, doesn't it? It feels like we're kind of still just stuck in that second gear, and we can't really
which is crazy when you look at the table.
Third in the league with 2 points off. Yeah,
exactly. It's crazy. We really haven't got going yet. There might be other sides saying something similar, but I reckon the side, like Sunderland, that they've slipped a little bit now, but they've been on full tilt really to get that far clear. All the other sides for me who have got less quality, they've got to be at full tilt to be anywhere around us, and I think the fact that we're second, third gear at best. I think we're only Sheffield United's the only game really we've got close to a 90-minute performance, which I'm sure you guys would agree. Outside that, it's 45 minutes and we're hanging on. It's
second half always seems to be shite then, doesn't it?
It really does. I think Sheffield United were only one really that they sort of delivered almost a 90-minute performance. You know what I mean? They really dug in with that one. But moving on, personnel wise, so yeah, I want to touch on Solomon. So, like we always say, with Pirro, he gets his start because he probably deserved it from goals he gets. Solomon, I think, on the back of his last 2 sub appearances, I'd say he would do a start. Like I say, they were both changes of what I sort of expected. I didn't think Nonta would lose out. I thought it'd be James. And James and Pirro give you really good impacts off bench, so it does work. But yeah, Solomon, it's not my ideal profile of a winger, which I've said before. I prefer, obviously Ramazan is the one you'd want in there, and he's everything you want from a winger is Ramazani. But Solomon, the quality wise, what he can bring to this side when match sharp is he's probably one of the best players in this league. I'm sure there are many people who disagree with that. And I think he's got better and better in his sub appearances and would due that start. And if I'm honest, I thought he played really well. It would have really patched up left-hand side with having Byram there. You had 2 right footers playing on left, so it was always going to look a little bit jaded. I mean, that right-hand side, that first half especially, I thought Nonta and Bogle, the first half, linked up really well with each other. Bogle were overlapping. Nonta, some nice little balls over the top, and he was getting in behind with Bogle. It was a little bit disjointed on left. Byram isn't going to do what Bogle does on that right hand side. The only thing really that bothered me with Solomon is I don't think he's got. I don't know if he hasn't got the engine or it's just not in his game for the tracking back. You know, like you get from a Nonto, like you got from a Somerville last year, like Ramazani did before he went out. I feel like I don't know if that's just not part of his game or if it's just the match fitness. He's sort of keeping his energy for what he needs, which is in that final third. But
Boyram looked wrecked yesterday, did he? I
mean, he got that yellow card as well, lads. And there were a couple of times after the yellow card where you wanted Solomon to give him a little bit more cover, a little bit of help, and Byron was sort of left on his own. And I wouldn't say we're lucky not to get a red, but he did 2 fouls within 15 minutes after the yellow.
Yeah. And after the post match as well, he just said it was about keeping your head. It sounded like he was lucky to stay on.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, they were not too drastic in there, but the referee were poor yesterday. I'll tell you that, lads. He was really poor. He was giving all 50-50s went their way. Very soft as well. You know, he didn't let game play. I feel like he was a reason why game were quite a stop-start, to be fair. He blew at everything. And Biden, you know, he could have seen red on another day, to be fair. But yeah, Solomon, I think he didn't know amazing, but I don't think he's put his starting position in jeopardy for after the national break, as long as he comes back fit. Yeah. I mean, are you surprised I've let him go? Or are you not allowed to say no?
I will be as well, but look, you have to understand when your kind of national team comes calling, you're gonna want to go play for him. I'm sure Leeds don't want him to go. I'm sure they're saying, look, stay here, work on your fitness, work on your sharpness, and let get up to speed. I think for him, for his career, it would be better if he stayed at Leeds and did work on his fitness a little bit more, because he hasn't really got fully gone yet, and he needs it for him and his career. He needs this to work at Leeds United. He can't be going back to Spurs with a failed loan spell at Leeds United, can he? And his career then takes a little bit of a turn then, you know. So what you were saying there, Mike, it's the same for me as well. He kind of got his goal from the central position as well. Obviously it was chalked off, but I don't like him on the wing. I don't know what it is. Every time I see him, I don't like him on that left hand side. It's very kind of predictable. It's very kind of slow. I do think he'd be better in the 10, but then that's sacrificing Aronson, who's doing a really good job at the minute. Like, obviously has more goals as well, looks dangerous enough. So yeah, it kind of seems like at the minute we're kind of just trying to get the best out of everyone, and we can't really do it. You know, we're obviously saying the same thing about Nonto, Solomon, Joseph, Pirro. We all kind of want the best out of everyone, but someone kind of has to be sacrificed then for that. So I would like to see him starting in a central position. I do think he'd be better in there rather than the wing. But then like that, then you're losing the press as well. And if you're starting Solomon and Pirro together, there's no press whatsoever.
100% not. What's your take, Dillo, on Solomon? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling better?
Oh yeah, definitely feeling better. I did touch on it on the Just Joe show. You know, I said it a couple of weeks ago as well. Like a back injury is a serious thing. I'm not trying to make everyone feel sorry for him, but it's definitely a confidence thing with Solomon.
Yeah.
Going back to the Burnley game, apart from his slip, he done very well in that game.
Yeah,
I think that's when everyone was so excited. So when he got injured, we were like, oh no. Then Ramazani bursted onto the scene. Do you know?
Yeah, to be fair,
so that all kind of gave us an insight of these two amazing players that now, like losing Rutter and Somerville, are after coming in, and these are their replacement. And we feel, well, I still feel we got the better upper hand on these two lads. But as each performance since he came back from injury, it's gradually. I wouldn't say he's up here, but he's definitely getting better. Which one and more confident.
He is improved. He is definitely improved.
He's definitely improved. So it's kind of a maybe we should let him go away in international duty. Exactly what Danny said there, for the simple fact, give him minutes and up his fitness.
True.
True. But I think there's more to come with Solomon, and then going into the mental health side of it, considering that's what you're based on in to a certain degree, which I completely agree with.
Yeah.
It's obviously knocked him because of the back injury. Ellen Road become hostile. He feels we dominated the Burnley game, so that was obviously a burden on him. And then as well as that, Tottenham was sent him out on loan for him to kind of get his career back on track. Whether he's here next year or whether he's at Tottenham, his career's at stake here. Where's he going to go? Like the Premier League's the best league in the world, and the Championship, like in English terms, is the second, obviously, clearly. So he wants to prove himself, and he wants to prove it to Leeds. So I wish him the best, and I hope he does it. You know, like come the end of the season, we get promoted. At least we can turn around and go. We can turn around and go. you know, who was part of that winning side? Oh, Solomon was. He was on loan with Tottenham. Jeez, he wasn't great at the start of the season, but he flew after January, or he flew after the last couple of
100%.
weeks. You
Do
know,
you know what?
so
Do you know what it is, Dillo? With all of our players, to be fair, I don't think any of them have really played poorly this season. They're always getting like measured against their own ceiling.
Yeah.
So like when we're talking about Solomon, and I mean, I heard it in stadium. A couple of lads were like, "Get him off his shite," and I don't know if that's just uneducated, just general, had a few too many beers, but he ain't shy.
Top class analysis right there.
right there, yeah.
Mate, honestly,
you heard it
I
here,
heard it all
folks. You heard it
sorts.
here.
Honestly, I had to bite my tongue yesterday, mate. Some right idiots behind me. If you're watching this, then stay subscribed. It's one of them where I feel like, especially with Solomon, you know, he's measured against his own, or he should be measured only against his own ceiling, because he isn't playing poorly. He's still better than majority of wingers in the league, even currently on form. It's just when you know what he's capable of, and you know, we saw flashes against Burnley, as Dillo rightly says, against Hull. You know, great assist for Joseph. We know what his ceiling is, so he's always gonna. As long as you measure him by that, that's fair. That's constructive. That's fair criticism, and he knows his own ceiling. And he'll look round that Thorpe Park at training. You know, when he were at Tottenham, he won't have felt out of place because he was starting games. Like anybody who says he's shy, just is uneducated and don't understand. You know, you've got, like you say, you both really hit home with that back injury. You know, you've said that every time we spoke about Solomon, that back injury, and it's one of those things.
It's not just like a hamstring, a calf, or like a back. Like you just think yourself, if you've got a little tweak in your back, like your work, picking up a glass, pouring the kettle, anything you do,
it does this.
Everything's in your, like, you know, you're constantly, you're walking a little slower. A back injury is a massive thing. Like, and we don't know what type of back injury it was, you know, whatever, slip disc, pulled muscle, like whatever it may be. We're obviously led on to a hamstring injury as well, which often does happen as well. For me, he probably did, and Dylan keeps saying it, that like it is a confidence thing with him, and it's a confidence to have confidence in his own body and trust his own body that it's going to be okay. And speaking from my own experience, Dylan knows the struggles that I had with injuries as well, like horrendous. Like I think I've done both hamstrings probably 5 or 6 times each, which sounds mental. People like really bad, like black and blue. And I went back playing football last October, and obviously this is on a minor level, but went back playing last October, and lads, I couldn't get it out of my head as much as I tried, and you know, tried to go into the mental side of it as well. Kind of went and kind of spoke to like this guy who looked really good at kind of on the mental side of thing on sports, and went speaking to him, and he just said, yeah, you're mentally just scarred from it. And that's like me, who was at not anywhere near the level that like Solomon is at. It has to affect them 100%, and it does when you have injuries, because you're constantly thinking, can I make that run? Will I make that burst? Can I pass that ball? It's everything. It's constantly in your head every second, and it's hard to shake that. It's
a very hard place as well, isn't it, when you're at Leeds United, to build up those minutes from an injury, because we've got to be successful now. You know,
we haven't got the luxury.
But the only thing there isn't.
The only thing that I'm going to be worried about, like the negative side of the Solomon situation, when Ramazani does come back, and hopefully he's not in the same situation as Solomon would be in. If Solomon doesn't start performing, he's not going to get ahead of Ramazan.
No, he's not.
Not a chance. And then,
he could easily find himself fourth choice then, couldn't he? Because James seems to be doing a bit better than him at the minute. I know he's dropped on the weekend, but James seems to be doing it. Ramazani's obviously looked like our best winger so far this season, not too far behind. So he could very easily find himself as fourth choice. And that, like, if you had said that to us when we did sign Solomon, we would have said, like, no chance. There's no way. But
if you had to say though, who would be the so far this season of the best winger? Who would just?
Yeah, Ramazani was before he got injured. Ramazani. And
even Nando's like up and down.
Well, I think Nanto is performing. I think the bashing, obviously, get your guys' thoughts on it as well. I think the bashing he's getting is a little bit unfair from Nanto at the minute. It's because his GNA isn't there at the minute, and that's just basically what football is measured off now. If you don't score a goal, you don't assist, you or shy. But he hasn't been, like, he has been creative.
He's definitely not shy. I just mean
he always looks dangerous. He's always an outlet. Like, his performance level has been consistent, more consistent than what it has been probably in his whole career. Because even Premier League days, his performance would shoot up, and then they drop for a couple of games, and then they shoot up again. Kind of, this is obviously a bad comparison, but kind of a little like Harrison, that you'd get a good performance out of it, and then they drop for a couple of games, and it'll go up again. But this season, he kind of seems to be fairly kind of consistent with his performance, and it's just he's not getting the goal. So, but that's the side of the game that can work on, and all it takes is Nanto just to click one or two in one match, and then the confidence is there, and then it's back. So, I don't think Nanto was too far off, and the bashings that he's getting as well.
It's a confidence thing with him as well.
I don't even think it's confidence. And he does look confident because he is taking shots and he is taking the mantle. It's not like he's shying away and he doesn't want the ball. He always wants it. He's always an option. It's just, for me, he's probably just trying that a little bit too hard. He probably is hearing a little bit of the outside noise that he, and probably in his own head and his own personal standards that we need to be scoring more goals. Pressure from the manager, pressure from the fan base.
It takes too many touches, when he's got an opportunity to shoot on the edge of the box.
But he never used to, though, Matty. He never used to, though. He used to be instinctive, very instinctive. Like the goals that he scored last season, he was very instinctive like that. If it opened up to him, we'd definitely want to have a pop outside the box.
Yeah.
So I just think he needs to get back to that trust in himself and just kind of do the easy thing. Don't try so. Probably just go out and have a little bit more fun. Don't put too much pressure on yourself and try and actually enjoy it a little bit more. But that's a minor thing with Nanto. He's not stinking the place out of it. He is still performing.
Well, there's positives about from last season because he's definitely matured.
That's what I'm saying, and his performance levels have been consistent as well. So I wouldn't not worry about Nanto.
I feel like he has that smile on his face. I've noticed more when he's been playing with Ramazani. They're link up, even down to small things like the goal celebrations. People won't read much into that, but that just shows. He's the first to congratulate him. He's got his little dance, and it's just that that chemistry between them, which we've seen him have with Somerville, and we know how good them two were on the day. I feel like with a few players like Nanto and Pirro, you get conflicted between you've got the eye test, and then you've got that the facts, which are the G and A.
Stats and
I feel like with Pirro, he very rarely looks good on the eye test, but the stats back up that he's doing well. With Nanto, it's the other way around. Like when I watched Nanto, I heard a few people on streams since game on certain reviews saying he didn't play that well. I feel like that's the same again as a Solomon case. To his ceiling, he's not firing. I predicted him to play a year. At the minute, he looks a shadow of that, but he still played well yesterday. The eye test told me. I watched it. I was there at the game. Good view. He played really well, especially the first half and the second half, which we'll go into. Nobody really played well, but Nanto was one of his most threatening players yesterday. But the G&A isn't backing it up, so I'm sort of conflicted between, the eye test and the stats. And I know full well Willie Nanto will want the stats. He's just going to want to be. He's playing all right. 6, 7 out of 10. He's steady away. He's going to be wanting. He'll be expecting himself. 15 G&A as a minimum this season. He'll have been expecting some of them.
He wants to be the man. He wants to be the shining light, the one that we hang the hat on. So that's what he wants. And that's a good thing to have, for his own personal. But I just think at the minute his game's probably being held back a little bit, because it seems like he's just trying that a little bit too hard. And he doesn't need to be, because we've quality all across that pitch. Pirro, Solomon, Aronson, and like what you said, Mike, he's just holding it that little bit longer, just taking that extra touch.
He really is
hesitating that little second, and it's a small thing, lads, and it can very, very easily come the more we get into the season. And like what I said, it just takes 1 or 2 goals in one game, and his confidence is sky high, and then he's back to where he be. And he could very easily. I know what you were saying there, Matty, that you were tipping him to be player of the season. It still could very easily happen, because if he starts banging them in with the way that he's playing, it could very easily happen.
No, 100%, mate. That first goal, it was like a bloody pinball machine in that box, wasn't it?
I said it was probably the worst, best goal I've ever seen in my life.
It was crazy, mate. It was absolutely
Pukas.
QPR. Oh, yeah, Pukas. I tell you what, QPR, that defending was so poor. They just couldn't clear the lines. But I tell you what I really liked, and it happened throughout the game till it came off. I know you're a massive fan, Darren especially, of Rothwell, the Rottweiler. We had decent tempo in that first half. We played well. We could have been 3 up, you know what I mean? We really played well that first half. But when there were certain moments in the game, especially the second half, but for the goal in the first half, when we went side to side quite a lot, and it was the first time being in the stadium, it felt like last season. We grew with an Ampru, because last season it got really didn't turn toxic because we were still doing okay, you know what I mean? But last season there were certain games where it were the fans were not happy at the style of football, and that really crept in that. But what I loved about Rothwell in this game, it was Strout to Rodon to Strout to Byram and back in it, and then all of a sudden he'd drop Rothwell, give me the fucking ball, and he'd drive with it. And as he saw for that goal,
because he did for the goal, because he went around, he carried it
20, 25 yards, and then played a lovely little chip with his left foot, which is it's showing how much variation he's got to his game. Right foot, left foot, passing tippy-tappy, long balls, short balls, driving with ball. He's actually got to turn the pace over 5-10 metres. He can get away from a man. And I thought he was outstanding yesterday. And I've watched a lot of reviews since yesterday, and a lot of people have picked up Aronson, who I thought were outstanding. But in the stadium, Rothwell stood out a mile, an absolute mile. Honestly, he drags us up that field, and
you need a ball carrier as well. There's times with it. you can pass it and move it as quick as you can. And there's times that we definitely don't and we should do. But there is times where you need a player like the Matthias Click that we've been saying about, that kind of advanced kind of 8 that can come short, get it and turn and go with it. And that's what Rotwell gives that to you. I say Tanaka can do it, but he's obviously asked to kind of do that more deeper. Also, Fark doesn't want to see that from him. Ampadu isn't really that type of player. You're right, he tries, but he kind of does it a lot deeper. You need someone like that in your squad. I've been so impressed with Joe Rotwell, and when we first brought him in, everyone was like, we were all kind of scratching our heads going, like, a loan signing from Southampton, like, who was this?
Joe Wayman didn't like him at all, did he? I don't think he's still in now, but Joe Wayman.
He's calling him shite. Shite, yeah.
He's ate his words, to be fair, since. But.
Yeah, that's it. Look, you can see something and you call it at the time, and then when you get your hands wrong, when you get it wrong, you hold your hands up and say, yeah, look, I got that wrong. But it's been outstanding, lads. I still keep trying to check myself with the Rotwell and Tanaka situation, because I remember being so down. I think we spoke about it at the time, Danny, when Ampadu and Gruev got injured. Like, I was just like, no, we're not going up to season. Like, we're going to have to go with
on, Joe.
Tanaka.
Go on, Joe. Who, me? Yes, you.
I actually still have to send him the video from remember when we were doing when he caught me on the spot and he said, out of the next 6 games, who do you think is going to lose? I actually forgot to say that to him. I'm a bonus pick with you, Joe.
Yeah. I thought you were going to have it tonight. I thought you were going to do a Joe tonight and go all in.
Just before the final word started, I was like, please be Jer.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Front row seat.
But no, that like you say, that Rotwell and Tanaka combination, and Dan, like I say, you've just got to check yourself. It's hard to believe.
That's what I was saying. I was very kind of down about it. Yeah, I was very down about it when they got, because I just thought, like, this was like the end of the world. We're at the losing our midfield pairing, typical Leeds United. Like, and then the two boys have just came in, and that's, I just keep reminding myself how well these two boys are doing. I know it dipped against Millwall, but you can't be perfect all the time. No one is in life. But the two of them, since they came in, lads, it's absolutely outstanding. Like, from the bottom to take on that mantle and go, right, I'm getting the opportunity and taking it. Difference being given an opportunity and taking it, and they've done that. And similar with Smith yesterday, and I was only on for a little cameo, 6 minutes, but it was great to see him getting involved in the goal. And we need everyone in the squad pushing in the right direction, 100%.
Well, considering, like I said, with the injuries between Ampadu and Gruev, when the two boys came in, not only have they done well, lads, that's the best partnership in the championship.
The quality.
It's unbelievable.
Quality.
And I'll fight anyone, no, not physically, I just mean when it comes
I'll
to
fight any man.
when it comes to that situation, because I feel not only is Tanaka an overall good player, whether if you did, I'd like to see him playing at 10, being honest. I know we've touched on that before, but like, the Rottweiler he's everywhere, you know. And then like that, Darren, me and you said it on one of our videos, like, he dropped in performance, Tanaka was up, and then the following week then Tanaka did deliver, Rottweiler was up. So it's been so very consistent, and I just want to get kind of a take on it, if you don't mind. What would be the full starting 11 for you with everyone fit? Because I think this is a good controversial thing to come out.
I think the back line at the minute is solid. There's for me, there's absolutely no questions about the back line. Still a little bit keyed off with the Fairboat situation. Yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed with Fairboat. Okay. I think, like, whatever went on there, you have to be professional and you just have to keep your nose out. But there's more. I'm kind of thinking of the other side as well. I think back to the Sunderland game when we see he lost it very, very quick, about when Meslier obviously dropped the ball and he was straight down the tunnel, and there was a side of it, like, you hear the fan base kind of praising him, going, oh no, I'd love to see that. But Pontus Jansson used to do the same thing, and then he got pelters for it as well. Do you know? So it's a very, very fine line with Fairboat, and when you start kind of crossing it then, but it just seems like he's kind of wearing his heart on his sleeve, and we love that as Leeds fans, but there is a line there, and I just think whatever happened, probably was just pure frustration losing the game, knowing that we weren't going to get any points out of it. 100% agree with that, but you still have to remain professional, not lash out, not throw a headbutt, just, you know, walk away. It's easier said than done. So really annoyed that he's done that, because obviously he was suspended as well, picking up well too many yellow cards. For me, it's a side of his game that I don't think he's ever going to improve on. Picks up well too many yellow cards, but he's still the best option at left back. So that back line for me is absolutely solid. Rodon and Strike at the start of the season, very, very kind of ropey, giving up too many chances, and we did kind of yesterday. But other than that, what's a 6 shots we've conceded now over the last 6 games? Like, unbelievable. Bogle was back to his best yesterday. He was poor at Millwall, but really, really good yesterday. Melee obviously picks himself, but yeah, probably it's anywhere up from that, then from the centre of the park right up to the 10 or right up to the 9 is tough. I think Ampadu has to start for me, lads. Like I think so, mate, because there's times in games, and especially the Millwall game, that's where I thought I was like, this is where we need an Ampadu, just that kind of covering, breaking up the play.
Yeah,
Tanaka does kind of give it to you, but not as well as what Ampadu would. So it depends. Look, it comes to opposition as well, but obviously we're just saying statistically across, what would your start 11 be? After then, I'd like to see Tanaka further forward, and that's really, really bad on Joe Rothwell because he's been outstanding.
So he'd take the Rothwell role, is that what you're saying?
I think Tanaka should take the Rothwell role. I think he'd be a lot more advanced. He could be creative as well.
Yeah.
At the moment, Ramazani on the left, I have to start Aronson at 10. I know people are like, it's
kind
of like there's almost this expectancy now of Aronson that he's going to like fall out of the number 10, but he's getting stronger and stronger as the week's going on. And the performance again yesterday backed it up. Again, very unlucky with the shot up the crossbar, non-throw down off the right. And then at the minute, right now as it remains, it's Pirro. That could change the next week to Joseph.
Oh, that's a big one.
It has to be Pirro down, and then again off the bench, then you have your Joseph, Rotwell, Gilavogi's, your Smiths,
the bench just looks unreal,
absolutely stacked, lads. And when you think to our bench now, to the bench that we had even under Bielsa in the Premier League, when we had the Clonmounts and McKinstry, all them boys on the bench, like it was mental. So. Yeah, that's as it stands at the minute. If you ask me that question next week, it could change. But I just think with Ampadu being the captain, and if Ampadu can start the season a bit rocky, but if we can get the Ampadu that we saw last season, and we've obviously spoke about him that he's better at centre half, I do think he is. But I think Farkas, he's different. But yeah, I'd have to get Ampadu back.
I was just jumping in ahead of you real quick, Matty, because I'm the exact same. Bar, I think Joseph should start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Ampadu's in that situation and Tanaka's playing higher up the field, I think you'll see a lot more goals from Joseph.
Yeah, but so I think you'd see it with Tanaka further forward. I think you'd see a lot more goals from Pirro. I think you'd see a lot more goals because Pirro, Tanaka and Aronson would be very, very good in the press, and I think they'd be able to compensate enough for Pirro. Yeah, look, it's just opinion.
It's hard because when you've got to watch the name your side, you've got some tough calls to make. We aren't paid to do that money. We haven't got the stress. It's Farker's job, you know what I mean?
I'd say Fark baiting his head off the wall. I'd say when he's had to see Joel or Pirro scoring, we call him Joel like at home. But I'd say when he went home going, oh my God.
Hey, Sean.
I didn't start Pirro today for the simple reason is because we lost against Millwall and he didn't do a whole lot. And now he's had to score. I'd say he's had to get in Pirro in the dressing room, absolutely choking the life out of him.
My team, lads, would be obviously Mez, Firpo, Strout, Rodon, Bogle. Like you say, speaks for itself. I'd have Ramazani on left. It's so hard on that right wing, because I just love Dan James, but I can't not have Nonto in there. So Nonto will start right. Aronson at 10. I'd start Joseph up top. Every game for me now, just because I think Pirro's effective off bench and it works. So even though I think Pirro's doing better, getting his goals and that, his stats are unreal, I would start Joseph every game just because it works. And that's how I'd go with that. And that midfield, it's one of them, innit? Like, I do think Ampadu comes back in. I think he gets off bench. He has a couple of games doing 20 minutes, and then I think he comes back in.
Comes straight back in.
And I think it's Rothwell who goes. It's the easy one. He's the one that's on loan, and I think that's a massive thing for Farker. Well. Yeah, I think so. He's going to look at it. We're going to be looking at going up this year. I believe we will. We all do. And I think Rothwell could play in Premier League, especially in that sub role. I don't think we'll sign him for Premier League if we'll be looking higher than Rothwell.
We'd be looking higher, yeah.
I think so.
If he was our player right now, you'd be more than happy to bring him up there with 100%,
you. 100%, I agree. But I just don't.
If we do go up, yeah, you're looking at an improvement, yeah.
I think you bang right what you're saying. It'd be Tanaka and obviously his captain to come back. But let me put this to you. Do you actually see a situation, lads, where we have a full strength side, knowing Leeds and how we are with injuries? Is that ever even going to happen? Ramazani will come back, and you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the same thing with that midfield. We could see Ampadu coming back and touch wood, and Tanaka getting an injury. And it's one of them things, and that's what squads are built for, lads. And we've said it constantly from the start of the season that the options that we do have is very, very good. Did we think we had a strong option in midfield and Tanaka and Rotwell? No, absolutely not. But we're getting to learn that we do have it, which is great. But the other question mark is if Ampadu comes back in, that's like a knee injury again, another serious thing. It was a bad one. It's going to take him a while to get up to speed as well. And again, it's not just like a hamstring twig. Like a knee is a serious thing. It's going to take a while to build up match minutes, match
When
sharpness,
is he
and all
actually
well
due
with
to
him.
come back? Sorry for cutting you
He's
off.
due back. It said he's due back training with no hiccups. Due back in December, and then back for games then in January. So
And then
Hopefully.
Gruev is...
I think Gruev's more like they said they haven't really given a time scale on Gruev. Ampadu's definitely the pushback, but they've said 9 or 8 to 5, no 5 to 9 months. So
So he's
could
gone for the
really
season.
see Gruev's season gone.
Well,
Possibly.
they won't need to force it, will the lads? Even you know,
No need to force it. No
if
need
it's
to.
back
Yeah,
with 6 games to go, there's just no point forcing it.
there's no point to forcing it. Yeah, no
I'll tell
point
you
to
what. I'll
forcing
tell you what. It's fun to do, lads. If we had a fully fit side, is it fair to say if we had a reserve side and you could play another 11 Leeds lads, we'd be second in league as well. Darlow in there, Byram and Schmidt, your wing backs. Vober, maybe Gila Vogie filling in at centre half. De Bayer won't bench. Gruev, Ampadu in middle. Dan James, Solomon in 10. Who could you have in 10?
Oh,
Geldart. And then Pino or Joseph up front or Bamford up front. That's not a bad second string if everybody were fit. When you look at, we've got a small squad, but apart from one or two, everyone's got value really, and you know everyone's pushing each other. And you look at that and you go, actually, we've got really good second team as well.
but
you
like
know?
that is the
Crazy.
makings like of a promotion team,
Crazy.
though, Matty, because you
Yeah,
do need that. And if you look at any squad that have got out of this division, it's been because it's a squad game. It's not just a starting 11. Like you
100%.
do need everyone, and especially the championship, 46 game seasons. How they come thick and fast like that. You get every now and then you get 3 games in 5 days, or 3 games in 6 days, 8 days, whatever it may be. Like there's a lot of football to be played.
You don't think that's what did us
rotation.
during that first season under Bielsa? You don't think that maybe caught up with us towards the end of the season?
Yeah, 100%.
We had such a small squad, didn't we? Like you said.
Yeah, we could see it. The legs were gone, and it was nearly a carbon copy of it the following season. Then when the Forest, we thought like my world fell apart when we lost the Forest in Ireland. They did his interview and we all thought this was it, and then we obviously picked up the point anyway at Brentford, and that kind of galvanised us a little bit. And then we know what happened after that, the whole world lockdown. But yeah, we didn't. When we went into COVID, we were very kind of rocky, weren't we? And just don't want to do a Karen Carney and say we got promoted because of COVID, but yeah, probably did give us a dig out. You know, gave the players, well, what it seems, I was watching Barry Douglas's interview and he was saying as well about the running and the stuff that he had to do. Like he was constantly on them, and he was kind of saying it was nearly harder the training they had to do during COVID than it was actually going into the actual training. But I'm just at the minute I'm positive with everything. I still think
I'm
we'll
with
go
Sean from Wilco White's, the famous Dutchman.
Yeah, you know what it is though, Sean. It's I'd say now I don't like I say I'm not massive on stats, and I don't tend to do much research before. I just sort of go with my gut and my heart a bit like these two lads here. But I'm pretty sure now they've probably played similar starts. I mean, Joseph started for 6 or 7. I mean, Pitto must have started 5 or 6 now. Maybe Joseph's got a couple on him, but Pitto must have started 6 and Joseph maybe 9. I'm somewhere close with that. Yeah. And you look at it and Pitto scored 1, I think, when he started. So for me, scoring more goals, but from the bench is more effective. When Pitto starts and doesn't score, Joseph doesn't, Sheffield United game, doesn't tend to come on and have the impact Pitto does. So I think Pirro, you know, you look at it and you go, Pitto should be starting 100% because of his goals. And how do you say he shouldn't be? But that's my take on it, really. I'm looking at, rather than I'm going with facts, really, on this one. And that works. That 70 minutes of Joseph, Pitto, it works. When Pitto does 70, Joseph comes on, he isn't getting the goals Pitto is. So that's my only reason, Sean. I totally get what you're saying. Pitto is our best striker, 100%. Is our best finisher, 100%. In the league, he's probably best finisher. I mean, I bet his goals to shot ratio is scandalous this season. You know, like goals to minute ratio is ridiculous. Goals to his actual amount of shots, I bet he scored 6 goals. I don't think he's had 20 shots. Do you know? It's ridiculous how many shots he has for goals. He doesn't need many. Where Joseph other way, but I'm just sort of going with a fact, Sean, that this sort of way you chose to go Saturday works for me. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm going around houses a bit with this, but
I know where you're coming from is, and we touched on it as well, that it seems to be more effective with Pirro coming off the bench. We do seem to play better all round when Joseph does start. He's not scoring goals, and then when Pirro's coming off the bench, he is scoring goals. That does seem like that's what's been working. And we said it then. I think it was after the Sunderland game. Pirro had a decent game. Right, we need to start him again. we did. He wasn't great, and then we were all saying, "Right, go back to the Joseph." And he kind of stuck with Pirro for a couple of games, and it didn't really seem to be kind of clicking. And I think that's when Fark said, "Right, I need to nail down who's going to be Pirro scoring the goals. I'm gonna have to start him for a string of games." Even a couple of games, he was probably questioning himself, going, "Maybe I should put Matteo in." He was probably like, "No, I'll just go stick with Pirro and let's see how he gets on." He did, and Pirro didn't grab the game and grab the short and say, "Right, this is mine." And that's what you want from one of them to do it, and they haven't done it yet. So it's probably going to ebb and flow the whole way through the season. I think so. With the both of them. It probably is going to ebb and flow, but Pirro, for me, he's going to be our top goal.
It just tends to work, doesn't it? Like you say, Pirro, he comes off bench, gets a couple of goals, and then he's that main man. And then within 4, 5, 6 games, he isn't getting 4 or 5, 6 goals from a starting position. So then it swings back. It's like you say, it's going to ebb and flow. But as long as they both stay fit, I feel as a combination, they're getting enough. We're getting enough output from them as a combination. You know what I mean? When you add up the G&A between them, it's working. It's just getting the right one who starts. And like we always say, different games for different people. I feel like he's getting the game sort of wrong. You know, Joseph at Millwall, perfect. Pirro at home. I feel like he got him wrong way around, really, for starting. But like I say, if Pirro comes on and scores, I couldn't give a shit, mate. But I totally get your point, Sean. And a lot of people will say Joseph. He's sort of fallen that pecking order in a lot of fans' minds. And I mean, I called out it'd be 20-goal season this season for Joseph. After what I saw in pre-season, I put my neck on line and said, top scorer for Leeds this season. He's going to be number 9. He's going to have a good run. He looked brilliant in pre-season. And he's not going to get anywhere near 20 goals now. If there's anyone who's going to get that, it's going to be Pirro, isn't it? Let's be fair. So
it's going to be Pirro.
So I called that one wrong. But I do think he's a 20 goal a season striker in the waiting. Whatever standard that is, I do believe he's going to be I think he'll get that clinical finishing, into his game as he gets older. I think we've got a real diamond in rough me with him. I just feel like he's not. Maybe I thought he were ready when he weren't. If you know what I mean, I definitely thought he could have impacted more games last season. I were probably wrong with that. Maybe this season he just, we thought last season he should have got more 20 minutes, 30-minute appearances. Then he's gone from not really getting much to starting this season. Maybe it should have been, when you look at it, maybe this season he gets his 20, 30 minutes a game where he's actually gone in as number 9, hasn't he? Which didn't shock anyone after pre-season, but before the pre-season, at the end of last season, if he said, we're not signing anyone, Pirro's on bench, Bamford's on bench, and Pirro started, we'd have all been shocked at the Championship final. We probably wouldn't have believed it, but after the pre-season, it sort of brought you around to that idea. What's this say? Matt, you and your neck on the line isn't doing well. No, it won't, mate. I look an idiot all the time, I do feel like I speak a bit of sense now and again.
I just get the vibe from Matty though. He just doesn't care. He's like, "I'm putting my neck on the line." And
I don't, mate. It is what it is, Yeah, I'll just waffle on a load of nonsense, and you tell me to piss off.
You say what you think, though. That's the right thing. You always say what you think, and that's the end of it.
I'll tell you what I think. That point was lovely. That's for sure.
I'm right enjoying Madrid at the minute. Like I say, you know me, I were on fruit ciders like a bit of a girl. I want that to start, but I know these Madrids are going down nice.
Well, no, I can't get into that at all.
Do you know what? Since you start drinking as well, you're ground the tash and all that as well. You're turning into a proper little boy, aren't we?
A little ginger tash. It's November. I don't tell you I've been growing this in September. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Elizabeth loves it. Elizabeth loves it, does she?
all you need is the little cap now to match the fellow on the glass.
It's a little funny tickler, but yeah, it's lovely. But no, it's it's not the best.
I can hear her coming down the stairs as we speak.
You said what? My mum's not even.
Might be on the next one appointed with a black guy. Might you what happened? I just fell in work.
Yeah, man.
Too much Madrid.
Bamford starts. Yeah, he keeps going on about this, does Danny? Don't he? Bamford starting in January. I just don't see him. I mean, if it's an injury to 15 at lads, I still don't think he'll start. So,
but does you mean?
Like, stick him in nest because he's good at keeping the ball out, isn't he?
Yeah. I love that line. I love that.
Danny, let me know. Like, are you saying consistent starting every week? Let me know in the chat.
He won't be though, lads. He'll break down. You'll get him in for 5 or 6 games, lads, and he'll break down. His body just can't do it.
I think Danny's thinking. We've seen him get. He came on. He had 10 minutes at Millwall, and I feel like you feel like he's on fringe all of a sudden. But like Darren says, even if he gets anywhere near starting, he ain't gonna last 2 minutes. He just can't do it anymore. We've been there. We've done that. We've wore that t-shirt.
That's why we need to just keep backing Joseph and Pirro, and just hopefully one of them does grab it more by the neck, because I can't get to a situation, lads, where they're not doing it in Park. It feels like then right. I need to need to change it up a little bit. But like Dylan hit the nail on the head. Like it's not like you're gonna say, right, I'm gonna bring Bamford in because he gives you the press and he gives you the goals. He doesn't really. He'll give you the press and he'll run about and his movement is good.
I don't think he will anymore, Darren. I don't think he will anymore.
And he won't score goals, mate. Like any of us going to be confident in him like that, taking a penalty, you know, having a shot 1-on-1 last minute, like to put the ball in the back of the net. 100% not. So yeah,
that's the thing. Now you see, you've got to have the legs for the movement, the press, which he had. If you're not finishing, we know he ain't got the finishing, and I don't think he's got it in his legs even no more. So what would you have him for? You know, you've got Joseph who can do all that.
Have him making the tea or something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Joe's
needs to earn his 44 grand somewhere, lads.
He needs to do something, mate. Play a card trick. What did Joe used to say about Conor Cody at Leicester last year? He's just in background playing cards or something. You know,
playing cards, yeah.
Maybe that's what he's doing, mate. You know, that on his podcast. But maybe we can get him on here, lads. He likes his podcast.
Yeah, well, he seems to be free enough. He doesn't seem to be doing much else. So yeah, we'll give him a shot.
Darren, you're winding me up, man.
I might not tell you what. If he comes on, he'll love Danny, won't he? Because we'll just be here saying Patrick, no chance, and he'll be like, Danny will get chat, and he'll be.
I'm actually getting wound up, lads. I'm gonna go off on one now in a minute because of his lads. Stop, please. Danny, you know what? I don't even want to know now. Just like off the Bamford subject. He worries, but do you know what it is? Now see, look, he's starting me up. No, I'm not even getting into it. No,
come on.
No, it's just I said.
Will you just take the bait? Will you? Come on.
When it comes to that podcast, that wrecks my head. That does my nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? You should be getting better, and you're there, bad mountain Leeds.
Yeah, but that's what you're saying there, Danny. He didn't play enough games for that to level out. So say he had, I don't know what it was, but say he had a 20-minute cameo and he happened to score in that. He hadn't been able to play enough games to stretch that out. You know what I mean? Further. Like when you've only played an handful of minutes and you might be lucky enough to get a goal, it probably does. You know, if he played an hour all season, he scores a goal. You know, he's got a mint goal to minutes ratio, but he don't really mean that because he's just not been around enough. But honestly, I can't slag anyone off who plays for Leeds, but it's difficult with Pat because it's difficult with Pat.
It's just because he's let us down so many times, mate. Yeah. So many times.
You know what? I hope he has a really good last few years of his career. I just hope it's somewhere else, lads. I hope and I'm like, oh my word!
It's like breaking up with your missus, isn't it? Like,
it's not me. It's you.
Yeah, it's not me. It's you. Yeah, like you're great lads and all that, but just go somewhere else, will you?
Honestly, leave Leeds, go to Southampton in January. He bangs in 10 goals by the end of the season, gets a call up to England squad. I won't even be gutted. I'll just be like, fair enough, mate. Like, well done. I
said I touched on it last week. Like, where is the players from the Bielsa era that's still here at Bar Strike? Bamford's finished.
They're all done.
Leeds pros, do you support any League of Ireland team? Darren, do you want to take that one or will I take it?
Yeah, Bows.
Up the Bows.
I
love the curry on a Saturday night.
On the Bows. Yeah, delighted to draw. They won the cup final. It was a cup final in Ireland today, mate. It's the FA Cup final. I was going to say FA Cup final, but it'd be kind of that in Ireland. And the local team close to me, draw, they won it today. So, I was happy to see them win it. But, yeah, Bows.
Right, let's just touch on second half anyway, because we've been on an hour, haven't we? Spoke about second half. I just want to go on about
Lord above, Sean.
We go on about it most weeks now, but it's definitely something that's. I mean, we saw, like I say, our semi-final where we saw Jer's points, and a lot of content creators have touched on the negative side of football, and we're really positive lads anyway, aren't we? You know, we can see what they're saying, but we haven't really honed in on the negative side, if I'm honest. Us as a threesome, but I were really, really disappointed in that second half. The first time I've left a game when we've won, and not for, you know what I'm like, I'm usually bouncing off at walls, you know what I mean? And you saw first time due before a game, and I were high as a kite on live like I normally am. But that second half, honestly, lads, I were really, really bored. And
I was going to say to you,
it seems to be getting like that, though, mate. Doesn't it? Seems to be.
Mate, what was the atmosphere like throughout the whole game?
Right, from the first half, bearing in mind we played really well in first half, or well, not really well. Very quiet. Erupted for goal, as you'd expect, then went quiet again. It only really got lively, you know, we're the champions of Europe with scarves and that sort of rung round when we made the subs and on about the 70th minute. I'd say the last 20 were really lively. We were trying to drive the boys to that second goal. Before that, honestly, it were really, really
It's always like that down Ellen Road, though, mate, isn't it? We've touched on it. It's like when we're shit and the backs are against the wall, it's like Ellen Road is absolutely rocking, but when we're winning 3-0, it's like flat as a pancake, and it's like us as Leeds fans, we love when we're up against it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a weird one because that we got that yesterday. Sounded like it was quiet. We were winning very, very flat, and then when it kind of QPR was kind of creeping back into it, looked like they might nick one. It was like Ellen Road was buzzing again. It's like, why is it? Why can't we just be like that when we're winning as well? But a lot of people are putting it down to Daniel Farke's playing style. I don't think they're too far wrong with that because there is times that like it is tough to watch, and it seems to be every couple of games it is kind of creeping into where we're decent in the first half and the second half it just goes absolutely flat. And we just haven't seemed to, like what you said, Mike, we haven't seemed to get the complete 90 minutes performance where we've kind of been good throughout, and that's kind of the disappointing thing. But it probably has a lot to do with match sharpness and that as well. But yeah, it hasn't been great.
It's definitely Farke's tactics. I'm starting to think now with this, it's too much of, a pattern now for it just to be players, like whether they've got a 3-day gap or a 7-day gap, we see the same pattern. You look at it, don't you, when they're playing a lot of, these 3 games in 7 days. We've done that quite a lot so far, especially last month or so. But like, then it comes to a game where you've got like, Saturday and a Saturday, and you've got a full week off, and you're still seeing that drop off, and it's got to be his tactics. And I just want us to not even hammer a team, like we've done it 3-0 at Plymouth, and we still took us. It's not even that. I just want us to like put that pressure on them for a longer period. Whether we score or not, I want us to look threatening.
In every attack, like kind of just like a high tempo ball being moved quick, the chances being created. Like it seems like for us to create chances, it's very kind of slow sort of build up through the middle of the park, playing through the lines. There's no kind of turn and get the ball out, whip one in behind, and obviously it's a lot to do with teams playing low blocks as well. But I get exactly where you're coming from, mate. It doesn't even have to be where we hammer someone 4 or 5 nil, and it's like, oh, we had a great performance. Because even we seen it at Huddersfield last year. We went to it, and it was great. Yeah, Leeds won 4-0, but it kind of came out of the stadium going, performance wasn't really great. Like that might sound spoiled, and delighted that we won. The performance was good, but it just wasn't like scintillating football. And we keep obviously saying, is it because we're so used to watching Bielsa's sides that like we're kind of like a widow of that now? It might be. It might be that, but I know what you're saying, Mike. Look, we could take a 1-0 win, but us to actually be absolutely hammering the door down. You know what I mean? Playing unbelievable stuff. 1-2s around the corner, stuff like that.
The stats might say we are. Darren,
fans. Yeah, that's about like
you look at stats and you go, "Wow, we have hammered them." But the eye test is and the atmosphere of
you'll get both sides of it, though, mate. You'll have some people that are very, very heavy on stats and statistics and GNAs and stuff like that, and that's fine. And people they need to see it to believe it. And then there's people like us then where we like that we just will go off our eye on what we feel and the emotions at the time. And both sides of it are right. But more people say, well, the stats say this and the stats say that, and that's fine, fair enough. But I think there is a lot more to come from this side, and there should be. Their levels are a lot higher than what they're at the minute. Joe said it as well. It just feels like we haven't got out of second gear. And that's crazy saying that because we're only 2 points off the top. It feels like we just haven't had that complete performance yet. Free-flowing football where everyone has kind of showed us our full potential. Like, so, yeah, that's kind of what we're aiming for, perfection. We'll obviously never get it, but it always has to be the aim.
Richard's at nailing it there, and Alan, really, we're winning 2-0, but as a fan, you wouldn't mind conceding a couple if you can bury a few more. When you're a paying fan, you come from Ireland, you spend a lot of money coming over. A 2-0 is great. Like you say, you'll take the 3 points, but 2-0 and then defending or being passive for 45 minutes or a 5-2.
Knocking the ball side to side. Back
as a fan, it's entertaining, and it's £50 a ticket. It costs a lot of money. We love it. We don't mind doing it. But like, it is entertainment, an entertainment game. So it's one of them. I sound like I'm moaning because really, you know what I'm like. I'll take the points and I'll move on. But you've got a podcast. We've got to talk about stuff. We've got to delve in. It's a big talking point around the fan base at the minute. There's definitely a drop off, and it's that risk averse football where it's going to get us up. No doubt. But I mean, like I said to you, mate, I sent you a screenshot of the stadium an hour before kickoff, and you could buy a seat, you could buy a ticket. Yeah, mainly a single ticket. There was some doubles, but you could buy a single ticket in every single section of every stand bar the half of the west stand where the away fans sit. Every section had at least one seat available. 45 minutes it was before kickoff when I was walking down with Priestley. That there. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I said to our last before I speak about it on our stream, she was like, be careful because it's Christmas and, all the politics around, money and taxes and all that. Not everyone can afford to go, and that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. But for Leeds, it's. I don't feel like it's just a financial thing. I don't feel like it's just a Christmas. I feel like it is. Is it the football that's being played? Are people just not that arsed for going? There were still 36,000 and I think 9 people there. So it's not like, there isn't loads of people there. There is. But when I say to you, there's a ticket in each section around the stadium. It might only be 1,000 tickets, 800 tickets, whatever it is available. That's still a lot for Leeds United at 3:00 on a Saturday, lads.
Yeah, that exactly what you said there, Matty. That's something that pains me and pains Dylan a lot because, like you said, we're obviously a member and we go over to games whenever we can and like that. The financial aid, the flights, accommodation, X, Y, and Z. So when it comes to when you sent that the other day, like I was just like head and hands because like I would kill for a Leeds United ticket. Like,
if you look around corner, mate, you'd be outside picking litter up you Monday morning. You love it. You love it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and you'd give anything to have a Leeds. And I know it's different because look, I don't live in Leeds, and you obviously get to go to a lot more games, and like does it wear off? But like it does never for me. Look, I'm gone over to Leeds since I'm 13. Like, you know what? A long time. Absolutely love it, and it never gets old. Anytime I walk down the road, it's still the butterflies. Still absolutely love it. Would go to any game that I can like, get your chance to go to. But even if the football is boring for me, I don't care. You'd always want to see Leeds United play. So yeah, it is an interesting one. I was very, very surprised to see that. Is it kind of off the back of a loss where it's the bandwagoners jumping on, kind of like what it did in the Premier League, where you just want to see Premier League football and exciting football, maybe. So yeah,
but then you go back to getting your spankings, don't you?
Yeah.
Not every week, but you go back to. We're not going to get spanked 4s or 5s at all this season, but we'll get a couple next season if we're in Premier League.
Yeah. 100%.
And the atmosphere, and it'll be sold out every game.
And it'll be sold out, and the atmosphere will be rocking. Exact same thing when we got thumped by City and Liverpool at home. Ellen Road absolutely hopping like we're getting thumped. Like it's just
what a club.
I think what a club.
What a club.
Oh man, we love it a bit. But like I say, I just wanted to touch on that because it's been quite surprising. What were you going to say, Dillo?
No, I was going to say I love the club. Absolutely love it.
And that can't be denied, mate. We can see that through.
If I lose 6-0 against someone, I'm still going to be there singing. You know, Darren will probably kicking the bar over, but I'll be still singing away there. You know, the bar rattling.
Like we always say, lads, as well. Like those lows, what we've been through, what we go through, what we will go through, always met those. You know, those highs we do get that a little bit sweeter, don't they? Yeah, so he's better than John Pido was a panic buy because they wanted to get. I love Danny. He's always accurate though as well. So yeah, I do think it was a panic buy, or maybe not a panic buy, but it was one of those buys with Pido when it was like
we need to make a statement.
Really for fans, the fans need a name to get them off our back. That was definitely one of them. But to be fair, mate, people say it didn't work last season, but he still got 14 goals. People say it's not working this season, but he'll get maybe more this season. So
he'll probably get more this season,
yeah. I think after 2 seasons, he'll be on mid 30s, potentially 32, 33 goals in 2 seasons, which isn't bad, is it?
How can you not love that?
Yeah, but I agree with what you said, Danny. I sort of.
But how can you not love that? Like, all joking aside.
That was a panic buy. Like I say, I'm not saying it was totally a panic buy, but I see his point. It was definitely one for fans. You know, I don't think that. I mean, everybody said we watch content all the time, don't we? And Lockie used to say it, and what's the other lad?
Adrian,
Andrea. Yeah. They said before we signed him, didn't we? He doesn't fit our system. So,
and it's been true, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not saying it was a panic buy, but I don't think when it comes to the scouting side of stuff, it ticked every box, but they still took the risk because we needed a name, didn't we? And I think it's been fine.
He probably just looked at him, in fairness to them. In the Premier League, you'd be delving a little bit more into that, does he fit system? I think they probably just looked in the Championship, you need a goal scorer. You need someone who's going to get you goals, and he probably just looked at it. Who was the one out there? They looked at it and said, he's been the top goal scorer in this division. What was it, 2, 3, 4 years in a row? Definitely 2 years anyway. And they've looked at it and said, go get Joel Pirro. Was the sensible thing to do. We all said at the time, we need to replace Patrick Bamford. What was the sensible thing to do was to go get Joel Pirro, because at the time there was murmurs of Leicester coming in, member to nick him, and we were all saying, if Leicester get him, like Leeds have missed one here, and we've kind of had our pants down, and we should be doing that, and we did do it. So yeah, I've been happy with Pirro, lads. Should his all-round game be better? Yeah, 100%. He's scoring goals. What a striker is there to do that.
Yeah, but going back to what you said there, and if you play to his strengths, when the boys are out on the wings, they should be hitting them. Whether it's scores my header or goes in off his arse. Doesn't matter how you get them, just get them in the back of the net.
If you simplify everything and you give Pirro the chances, he will score goals. And that's up to the players around them to do that. And if they do that and we can get fire in doing that, Joel Pirro could easily hit 20 this season. So that we need to be doing that.
For me, he's probably working as hard as anybody, if not, more than anyone in terms of
he's doing a lot more than last season.
He's having to force his way into a system that he doesn't naturally fit in.
Yeah,
and I think he's worked in his game a hell of a lot, and he's fitting in that system better this season than he did last season for me. And it's credit to him when there's certain games where when he does start, and he's bringing Joseph on with 20 minutes to go. There has been games where Farker's gone, I don't even want to take Pirro off because I'm going to drop him to 10. Whether we agree with that or not, it's still a nod to Pirro that regardless of what you can do or not, 20 minutes to go, we need you here because we need you in and around that box. So
in and around that box, yeah.
That goes to show how valuable he actually is, that there's certain games where he does still stay on pitch even if he's not up front.
It was the same thing with Haaland. Do you remember Haaland at City's first season? They were all saying, Haaland doesn't really do much. He's scoring goals. And that's what Joe Pirro was there to do. You need a goal scorer, and it's mental saying that. I remember, where every time you were looking at, even if you had live score on and you're looking and you're like, geez, Haaland scored again. Absolutely unbelievable. And then everyone was just like, oh, well, what else did he give you? It doesn't matter. He's scoring goals for you. So, yeah, for me, if we just played to Pirro's strengths, he'd be absolutely unbelievable. And there's a lot of times that we don't do it. We try to give the ball onto his feet. I don't know why, because he's a really bad touch. He can't turn with it. He's very, very slow when he turns as well. He's like a bus trying to turn. So if we play to his strength and get him in behind and the ball in the box, give him a chance, he's going to put the ball in the back of the net. You have to play to our strengths. We need to be doing that.
I'd rather him take a penalty than Bamford, though. I think you're not agree with that.
100%. He's absolutely clinical.
Richard, you can come again, Richard, because you would totally agree with my sentiment that he's better coming off a bench. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. Right now, he's the best striker at the club for everyone in the chat. But I do think it works this way. But yeah, Richard, you can come again, my mate. So I want to go into the subs on the 70th minute, especially. Obviously, Pirro comes on. We've been speaking on Pirro quite a bit. You can see that's the biggest talking point, I'd say, at the club right now. Is that?
Yeah, it has been.
But yeah, Dan James. I mean, what I love about Dan James is he tends to not get massive injuries, but he gets a lot of 3 or 4 gamers, doesn't he? Quite regularly.
Just because he's so explosive, he's gonna get calves and hamstrings because he's just rapid.
How good does he fit straight back in, Darren? It doesn't take him 4 or 5 games to get back into the swing, like we're seeing with Solomon. Now it's taking Solomon a little bit of time to get.
He might take a game or two, he might take a game or two where he's not fully sharp. But even at Bristol, he wasn't fully sharp, but he was still he's still threatening, still looked dangerous. And you could just see that his keel wasn't chalked, we should say. But he like what you said, it doesn't take
that reference.
Did you like that? That was good.
I actually did really like that.
That was all. He wasn't.
That roll off the tongue, beautiful.
That's better than my availability one. That's right.
That's a sort of like Joe's one, smashing through the ceiling sort of situation. I like that. I really like that.
Thanks. I'm here all week. I love the support. So he wasn't 100%. His Q wasn't chalked against Bristol City. But then he got back, he got back on the straight away. It's like that. It's like what you said, mate. He just needs 1 or 2 games and then he's back. He's back and he's match sharp and he's flying again. And love that about Dan James. And like that, whether he starts, comes off the bench, he always gives 100%. That's one thing you can say about that lad is he never comes on. He can never turn around and go, I didn't really do much for me today. He can have a poor performance and stuff doesn't come off, but you can never say he doesn't try. He always gives 100% for this club.
Are we deluding him thinking he will never start over Nonto? Because as we saw last season, Dan James he knocked Nonto off that pedestal a few times last season. If it wasn't for injuries, what got Nonto the chance to come back in, and he lost his shirt towards back end, did James? But last season for 30-35 games, I'd say he probably had the nod when he was fit, and he really had to try and force his way back in the team, did Nonto, which he got towards back end. But James is outstanding and could easily keep on about the team, don't you think, Dillo?
Definitely. Going back to what you said though, Matt, you loved, you're a DJ fan. I love that because he's just raw, rapid pace. He's
just hard on the sleeve as well. Loves a tackle on all as well, doesn't he?
Lockie did say on the Just Joe show, he's the type of player makes a decision and he just does it. He goes, you know what I mean? Doesn't think about it too much. He just does it. But being honest with you, and I'm probably going a bit higher, next year when we're in the Prem, I can't wait to see him score against Scum and celebrate in front of them.
Do you think
kiss the badge?
Do you think he's improved enough, lads? That step up this time?
Yeah, I think in any division and any league in the world, pace can always be. It's always a weapon to have, and if you have that, and especially in the Premier League, if you can have it, look, I know you need more in the Premier League, but it's definitely a trend to have. Otherwise, Scum wouldn't have signed them, and we were looking at him. Scum signed him as well, so there is a player in there, and sometimes raw pace is just enough, especially in the Premier League. So, yeah, I think 100%.
Scum's got with every player that we have or we're involved with.
We spoke about it, Matty, when we talked about Dan James and his improvement, as in his G&A, the goals he gets for us now as well. But even his final ball has improved massively. His balls into the box as well. His final pass. There was times where it was almost like his body was trying to catch up with his legs when he was trying to make the pass. You know what I mean? It was always kind of wayward, or his crossing was like he was going too fast for himself without foot getting stuck underneath his feet and stuff like that. But he's definitely improved a lot more this season. And that, again, that has to be down to Darren Fark. And he doesn't get enough flowers for improving players, and he's definitely done that with Dan James. I've been very, very impressed with Dan James. He's improved massively, absolutely massively. When we brought him in under Bielsa, we were all saying he's going to be unbelievable. Do you remember when we signed him? We were like, this is kind of like the romance there. Eventually, two of them together. Bielsa were chasing him for so long. I played him out of position, in tens, up striker, everything. But under Fark, he's improved massively.
He shoots as well, lads.
Just has a pop.
He's got some cracking goals, man.
Pure instinctive, yeah. Pure instinctive.
Even that one that he scored nearly at the halfway line, like, that's what I'm saying about his decision making. He just does it. He doesn't think about it.
If that's maybe willing on to, he takes another touch and gets tackled.
Takes another touch and tries to get in, yeah.
Yeah, when you look, that's why I wouldn't rule out Ramazani and James potentially being starters going forward. Even though, like I say, I think it's hard to drop Nonto. I really feel like he's at Somerville in terms of probably will keep his position. It'll take a lot for him to lose it, but with them two, they're always going to shoot on sight. And like we said about Ipswich last season, these deflections, these 1%ers, we're not going to score corners. That's a 1%er we're not going to. That's a game we're not going to really get this season because we haven't really got the personnel for it. But when it comes to deflections and scruffy goals and balls bouncing around in box, a little bit like for goal yesterday, you need shots from outside the box to create these. Create that desperation in their box, a ricochet deflection. You can get 3 or 4 goals. Ipswich got 6 or 7 90-plus minute goals last season, didn't they? Equalises, winners from shooting from outside the box. And I feel like with DJ and Ramazani, they give you that threat, whereas a Solomon and a Nonto probably don't. They take an extra touch, they overthink it. So that's what I really like about DJ. Backs himself. It's not just his pace. He'll have a shot. He isn't too scared. He's a brave player. I'll say he's a very brave player, this DJ. He's not someone who plays with, doesn't look like he plays with fear. The shackles are off. A lot of players in this league side, I feel like play with shackles on. Like we've said in Pascal, Evan Yampadu, and certain other people.
Even the playoff final, Matty, that's the prime example of it. The playoff final, they all did in the playoff final. You could see every single one of them was scared, and that game was made for. I remember standing outside that pub waiting for it to open to go in and watch that game, absolutely buzzing. And I seen the lineup coming out, I was like, I just love DJ today, especially Wembley being a massive pitch. His raw pace running at you in a big pitch like that is an absolute nightmare. Nonto didn't step up, Somerville didn't step up, Rutter didn't step up. All these players that we hung our hat on. And the first thing then that we said after that game was over was just like, oh, well, yeah, I don't mind if Nonto goes now. But Dan James, when he came on, like we just said, mate, it's just like, he's just fearless. Just play the game and that's it. And he was so unlucky because he would have went down, even if we went on to lose that game. If that shot off the crossbar had went in, that would have went down in Leeds folklore. It would have just been, like what you said, just to celebrate a Leeds goal at Wembley would have been unbelievable. Even though I wasn't there in the pub, it would have been absolutely massive. But yeah, I love DJ. I absolutely love DJ.
Me too. What do you reckon of this one, Dillo? I'll let you answer this one, Sean. Are we expecting too much from this team? For certain fans still disappointed after a 2-0 win, me included. Not disappointed, but not ecstatic like I normally am. Do you think that's fair? Do you think we're expecting too much from him, or do you think the criticism's right based on the talent we have, bud?
No, it would be like, considering last year the 90-point trophy, we're kind of, this is our season to do it, and I feel like even though the performances, like, people are saying they're not great, like we are winning games. Fair enough, Millwall. Every team that we've played, you said it, Matty, we've dominated. Apart from Middlesbrough, like, we've dominated every single game, lads. I don't care what anyone says. Same thing, I'll fight anyone, not physically, but we have actually dominated every single game. So I think there's a lot of fans there that are silly. I'm going to use the word, considering it's still early on in the season. They're saying Fark out. There's a lot of criticism coming for certain players who starts, boring football. We're winning. But the whole point of this club getting Fark in, and all the other players that we have is to get promoted to the Premier League. So, like, I'm not being smart. Like, if we were in the position we are in now, next season in the Premier League, would you be happy with that? Ask yourselves that question. Like, considering that it's the Championship, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if we were in the third position this early on in the season in the Premier League, I guarantee there'd be not one bit of criticism. Everybody like, Leeds are flying. They lost 2 games. They dominated.
I don't think we're
It's
that far
different.
off, lads. That
Evie's
meant,
right
because
there,
I was literally just about to. I was like, lads, we're not that far off. It's not like we're miles off it. We're very, very close. A couple of mistakes, a Solomon slip, Melier dropping out of Sunderland. Like, lads, it could be totally different. Even if we picked up a point against, if we didn't lose that game up only we picked up a point. Melier doesn't do that, then we're sitting top of the league, and no one's asking these questions. It's very, very fine lines, and that's football. We're not. It's not like, we're well, like this time last season, we were well out of reach of the top 2 when we were all kind of turning around and going, yeah, it's the playoffs, yeah, it's going to be the playoffs. And look what happened. He can turn very, very easy. And we keep saying that Leeds United could very, very easily go on a winning run, 13 game unbeaten, and see ourselves top of the league, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, and then no one's going to say anything. Yeah, it's just, it seems to be just anxiety from a lot of the fan bases because we're not top, and it's just a very kind of table driven and going, well, look, we're only in third, like we have the best squad on paper and we should be there. Like, we're still only 15 games into the season, as there's a long way to go. What's 31 games, if my maths is correct, still left? 31 games still left to be played in this division, like, of me. It's Brooke proud of me. 31 games to go in the season. Like, we're not far off, lads.
Callum, we're not only going to win this league, we're going to dominate.
We might have more quality than every other team in the league, but we've also had more adversity in these 15 games.
100%.
We've had more adversity. Yeah, the people that have gone out, we're fortunate enough that we've got Premier League players who's been able to come in for our injured players, but still a lot of adversity. And like I say, we're not. People talk about it like we are third, yeah. And we're a mile off it. We're in the mix. We're in the mix. And like you say, when you look at it, we haven't really strung a 90-minute performance together. And I don't envisage that going on for the next 30 games. I think
we're still in second gear. We keep saying it week in, week out. We're still in that second gear.
Do you see a situation where game 41 we're still talking like this? I don't.
No.
I don't.
100% not, lads. Exactly. 100% not. Genuinely think the 20 year, the Christmas period is obviously very
bang on.
Evie the nail on the head with that.
Hang on.
And that's what I mean, lads. It's fine lines. It's not like we're well off. It's just 1 or 2 things, and it's 1 or 2 things from individual players that will make this squad better. Look what we're saying about Nanto. Nanto could just get his match sharpness in, make his decision making a bit quicker. We can get Solomon a bit sharp as well. Joseph Pirro hitting everything. Like, we're not that far off. Like, the defence is absolutely rock solid. Like, it'd be different if we were scoring goals up front and the defence was leaky. Like, Evie has the nail on the head there. We're not that far off, and it will come good. Christmas period is obviously a crucial one because there's a lot of games very quick. If you can come through that with a decent return going into the new year, maybe 1 or 2 additions then just to strengthen us up again a little bit, and then I can't see anything. And I was obviously getting a bit of comments after the Millwall defeat, and a couple of Millwall fans came for us and on your channel as well, Matty, saying, oh yeah, best team in the league is our third, you couldn't beat Millwall and blah blah blah. This happens in football.
You come down the road.
Exactly, that's it. And look, they might even come to Elm Road and do another one on us, and everyone has them bogey teams. Look at Man City at the minute, lads. Best squad, best manager, and 4 losses in a row, lads. Like, this is football. Like, this is going to happen.
Relegation.
And look what I keep saying. If we went out every single week, and we talk about being boring, but if we did go out every single week and won every game 2-0, even if the performance was top drawer, you'd get bored, wouldn't you? There's nothing to talk about. You know exactly what's going to happen. And you're going to go through these adversity. And at the start of the season, none of us would have been deluded enough to turn around and go, oh, we're going to win every game this season and not lose it. We knew there's tough places to go to, like the Millwalls, like your Stokes away. We should have won at Bristol City. But you're going to get this in the Championship. You're just going to get teams. And what I keep saying is that every single team that play against Leeds United will always up their game because that's their cup final.
Nobody else has that. No one else has that.
No one else has that. They always up our game. Every single one of them. The rest of the 23 teams in this league, the first fixture they would have looked for is when are we playing Leeds?
Yeah.
With us, it's very, very hard for these players week in, week out, whether they're professionals or not, and the money that they get paid, it's very, very hard for them for 46 games a season to constantly up it when you're playing a team that you're their
like
cup final.
Cup final.
You're your cup final every single week. It's hard to do that. And what I keep saying, it's going to happen again this season, lads. There's going to be another poor performance. We are going to lose more matches, probably another 5 or 6, but we're still going to win the league. Like, so.
Yeah, no.
Might be naive, might be big headed, but I don't see it any other way. But I'm also not deluded enough to know that we're not going to lose any more games for the rest of the season. Like, so.
Yeah. But like Callum said earlier, there, everybody else are going to lose as well around us. Yeah. I mean, if there's any team who's capable of going on that 30-match run, it's Leeds United. It's definitely us. We lost that game last year at the top of the league, sure. And Sunderland had a good team at this level. Just for information, we won against QPR 2-0. Yeah, a lot of people, tend to reference Bielsa all the time, but we forget in those seasons with Bielsa, we had bad results, but because we'd not had that success yet, and we were on the climb, trying to get to that summit. All that crap we talk about, your hockey days, that were all just behind Bielsa, wasn't it? So when Bielsa came, being third, we were still probably buzzing with that. We're like, we were trying to reach that summit. Now we've been there and done it. Now second, third ain't good enough, and that's what he's got to deal with. But like I always say, it's the best job in football, and he knew when he came to Leeds Farker, even though he shouldn't be always compared to Bielsa, why can't he be compared to the shite he's replaced? He knows he's going to be compared to him, and it's something, he gets paid good money to do, and he's got to get us up. And for me, we'll get up this season. We'll have had 2 years worth of football where we're going to work happy with a smile on face, because we tend to get a result, which I'm sure you'd all agree on.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Let's have a look at some of these other comments, because they're flying in now. No team has been as solid as us. Meslier doesn't have to do anything. What other team has the league keepers? Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. We've done really well, haven't we? We touched on it a lot, don't we, about that Sunderland performance. We've done really well to keep the games relatively easy. We're managing games well, keeping the ball away from Meslier, because
the ball away, yeah.
100%.
If that's in the Premier League, right? If you think of it just the other way around, if Meslier does that against Liverpool, say, and the ball goes in the back of net, and then the next week, then you're playing like your Aston Villa, Spurs, Scum. It's very, very hard to keep the ball away from him, and then his confidence could be knocked. And I do think after that, we were conceding, because then we went on that run where we only conceded 3 shots on target in, what was it, 6 games or something like that, something mental. And we just kept the ball away from Meslier. And I think that's probably the best way to go, is just don't let them get any shots off. And in fairness, we're absolutely rock solid at the back.
No, I agree. Honestly, these chats are just, it's too much.
Yeah, they're flowing in.
They're absolutely flying. I want to try and get through these, but I want to touch on last thing from the game.
Callum just said it there. I'm just reading one here. Callum turned around and said, Fark loses again and he'll be called for the sack. And that's it all the time. It's like, it's not even if we draw, it's the same thing against Bristol City. We drew against Bristol City and the world, you all right there, Dill? the world was breaking down and everyone wanted Daniel Fark to be sacked then. It's just like, we have this expectancy that we have to win every week, and yeah, that's right. But surely there has to be a little bit of common sense to know that isn't going to happen.
No.
And we are going to drop points through the season, but it doesn't mean when we do that we turn around and say, right, we have to sack the manager. Like, it's absolutely mind-boggling. Like all the stats, I said it on Just Joe's as well, the LUFC data. This is the most points we've had at this stage of the season after 15 games since 2010, 2011. So, absolutely mental. I know we're not big.
That bang, I absolutely wellied my knee off the table. Sorry about that.
I know we're not big on stats. I know we're not big on stats and that. And you definitely have me critics of Daniel Fark. 100%. Is a football born at times? Yeah, definitely. Could he make his subs earlier? Yeah, 100%. I have me critics of him, but he's still the best man for the job to get us out of this division. And I know a lot of people come back and say, yeah, but is he going to do it in the Prem? But we're not in the Prem. We're not in the Prem yet. And when we get there, then we'll talk about it, and then we'll see how he does. And then if he doesn't, well, then you sack him and then you let him go. Look what you said, Mike. He isn't going to be here forever. He isn't going to be Leeds United manager forever. But there's one thing I look back on and regret big time, is that when we had Bielsa here, didn't enjoy the ride enough with Bielsa. It was like we were constantly just looking forward to the final goal, and then we did get the final goal, and then Bielsa left, and then we're all looking back, that Stoke game, and do you remember that game, and do you remember we bet Man City 2-1? It was like, he didn't enjoy it much, so I think just enjoy the journey, because we don't know what the destination is going to be. And if it is going to be promotion, then we're all waxing lyrical. Fark is a genius. He got us out of this division. Do you know what I mean? So just enjoy the journey.
I agree, but 100%. I'm going to read this one out because it's Bielsa's knee. And let's be fair, I know what you're thinking. That's just a guy called Bielsa's knee. But this could be Marcelo Bielsa's knee. If anybody's kneecap could type...
We're in the bits as we speak.
If anybody could type a paragraph that made sense, right? On a keyboard, it would be Marcelo Bielsa, let's be fair. So, yeah, Meslier at Sunderland wasn't a mistake. It was because the goalkeeper did the wrong thing, should not have let it bounce. Yeah, I mean, I'd say doing the wrong thing is a mistake, buddy. But, yeah, like you say, if he comes out quicker at that, you want him to go take it on the full. You don't want him to let it bounce. When ball
don't let it bounce. Yeah.
I'm a big rugby fan, and I know it's a different shaped ball. You let the ball bounce, anything can happen. With a football, you tend to be able to read where it's going to go. But with a spin, potentially hitting a bobble, hitting a foreign object on the pitch. We know what happened. But yeah, if he comes and gets that, if he's a little bit smarter, reading game a little bit better, he can be a little bit further off his line. He can collect that, and then we'll win the game. And Sunderland then are not the best side of the league, as some people would say, because for me, I don't know how they are the best team in the league when you consider we smashed them, and it's only literally a goalkeeper mistake that then puts to bed the 90-minute performance just because he didn't catch one ball, which makes no sense to me. But yeah,
and and then some people will turn around and say, obviously don't want to get into it too much to Joe and Jerry. When Joe was saying, look, we're the best team in this league, I firmly believe that we are as well. But Jerry was more so on the stats side of it going, well, no, we're not, because we're third and Sunderland are top of the table. And that's, people just need to see it on paper and go, right, that's the facts, that's it. But overall, when you look at squad-wise, who's the better squad, who's the better players, who's better equipped to get out of this division, it is Leeds United. So for me, we're still the best team in this league. And it only matters at the end of the season, when that final whistle goes in the 46th game, who's top of the division then is the best team in the league. And I believe it's Leeds United.
Yes, I love that. Dan.
Yeah, honestly, Dan, nail it there, mate. I fully back that as well. Luck, I think we've had a little bit of luck with, Ramazani's goal against Watford, but we don't have much. But like I say, bring that back to shooting outside box. You make your own luck, don't you, sometimes? And the more shots we have from outside the box, we'll get stuff go our way. But yeah, see what happens. We are front and centre, Sean. There's 93 points to go, and more often than not first in the week, 15 and not first by 4. Yeah, I agree. Evie. Honestly, your points are always so valid. Bang on the money, Evie, as always. Danny, I said to me, other Sunderland are best at the minute because they are top. No, they're not. They're not. But yeah, I just want to last touch on the game is just I just want to mention Schmidt. I think he deserves a little bit of a call out for his 6 or 7 minute cameo. I thought he came on. He was very direct. He came on the wing, which maybe he's just not a wing back, lads. Or maybe he is, but Farker sees him.
Yeah, he hasn't came on. Lucky said it as well. And when I watched the highlights back and to see the Bogle and Boyram still on the pitch, I was like, well, he obviously doesn't think of him as a fullback then. Is he because he's being brought on for wingers? And does he look like a winger? No, I don't think so. But Lockie turned around and said it. He reminds him more of like a Rico Lewis. And it was only when he said it, I was like, yeah, he actually does. He can play fullback. But he just seems to be like that, the Army Swiss knife, where he can fill in anywhere. And does Fark kind of have this kind of thought where he doesn't see him as a fullback, but he can do a job everywhere across the pitch. He will be able to, like, if it does come to a situation where, a Bogle's injured, Boyram's injured, will he fill in at the back? Yeah, 100%. But it's also really, really good to have, because you can see by the way he carried the ball, even when he got involved in the goal, he's very kind of agile and mobile, and he could definitely do a job in the middle of the park as well. He could do a job out on the wing. So he's just one of them players where he's just, you need him everywhere. So yeah, delighted to see him come on, because felt when Fark came out and said about him, he wasn't doing enough in trying, and like probably just gave him that little nudge. He was obviously kind of having chats with him, wasn't listening. Then when he kind of publicly announced it, Smith was probably like, right, need to look down here. Did well.
He's done somewhat well in this last week, hasn't he, Paul? Because that was only a week ago.
Yeah,
and now he's some minutes.
You can just change that quick. Looks what we said. We can change that quick. No, and we can easily see it now. I think it's come at a good time, because I feel if Boyram had to go again, say on the midweek, and then we had to go again on Saturday, it's a lot of minutes in the legs for Sam Boyram. 3 games in a week, whatever it may be. It's a lot of load on him to do that. And then you probably would see a Smith coming in at fullback. So I think for us, it's probably come at a good time for Boyram to kind of get a little bit of rest in his legs. He won't be weighing it on national duty, but probably came at a bad time for Smith, because he would have had the opportunity then to actually come in, because I don't think Boyram would have played 3 games in a week anyway. So
no,
yeah,
I agree. Anything else to touch on, guys? And I've just seen chat Josh Gillavogie. Yeah, I don't want to touch him too much. He came on, played really well. I think he's going to get more minutes than we all probably thought of. I'm just mindful of time.
Which is class for free.
Oh, mate, he's going to have some big moments, in probably not many minutes, but he's definitely going to get more minutes than I expected with a free signing. Even when everyone's back, I think there'll be games where you need a corner. There'll be games you need that physical edge, and I do expect him to get more minutes than I thought. But you will leave it at that on terms of the actual match. So yeah, I haven't mentioned it for an hour and a half now, but please stick a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't been subscribed already to us, and if you're not, what have you been doing? It's free. Click the goddamn button, will you? And make sure you get over to Only Leeds Bros as well and check them out. Love them a bit. Mint content as always.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always a bit more cringe when I say it, because it's like, you normally say,
give us a song, man. I forgot about that.
I normally
sing us out, boy.
I normally give a little bit of a song, right? Normally just a 50. So if you don't want to listen to this fat lad sing, just leave now and just pretend this bit never happened, yeah. But I had a little bit of an idea, right? And I've changed up some lyrics of a song that I quite like. So see what you think of this, and then we'll get your comments in and let me know if it's crap or not.
Sing us out.
Mamma Mia Leeds version, right?
Love it. We love it.
Right, you ready? I've been white, yellow, and blue since way back when. So I made up my mind that will never end. Look at us now. Will we ever learn? We don't know how, but we suddenly lose control. When I predict a riot is in full flow. Just one goal and I can hear Farker sing. One more win and it's Dan James down the wing.
Oh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Leeds United, here we come again. My, just as we predicted, Leeds United will reign supreme again. My, soon you'll be addicted. Yes, we've been broken hearted.
Record deal incoming.
Since Bielsa departed. But with Farker, we are fucking going up.
We're going up. Leeds.
Going up.
I cannot wait to hear Ellen Rhodes singing that now. I can't wait. Lads, get that going. That was brilliant. As
That's
usual.
going to sound absolutely mint in the South Stand.
Oh, man. You never know. But yeah, I had a little bit of a play down with words, and I love a bit of a sing song. So yeah, hopefully I didn't. But, yeah.
What's your man Paul Wilton? Step aside. There's a new man in town.
Oh, much
Love it.
appreciated, guys.
love it.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone in chat. It's been hard to keep up with. It's got full on in chat. But yeah, thanks so much for all your comments, your likes, just for being here, and me and the guys appreciate it massively.
Love it. Yeah, thanks for dropping in, lads. Love it.
God bless. Have a good week, everyone. Take care of
See you, lads.
yourself. See you later. Thank you. Bye bye.